Oh, welcome or welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Uh, Sitting in the clouds and giants. What? Oh, stay tuned. You'll find out. We're going to do Devarim, the third reading, which is Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 22 through 38. Uh, Yesterday's Torah portion, we saw Moses rebuking the people for their sins and misdeeds over the past 40 years. And he also established judges to be in authority over the tribes, which is something new to them because Moshe just had enough. I had enough. And if he would have been in today's vernacular, he would have said, I'm tired of your petty bickering. I can't handle this anymore on my own. I got to have some other people because you guys are just crazy and you want to bicker about everything. Judges, I need help. So that's where we ended yesterday's Torah portion. So we're going to begin. Today's reading actually starts in Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 22. I'm going to start in 19 just for the sake of kind of getting into the flow here. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 19. After we established the judiciary as God has commanded us, we journeyed from Horeb and traversed that entire great and frightening desert, which, as you saw, abounded with giant serpents and scorpions. We traveled toward the mountain of the Amorites, and as God, our God, has commanded us, and we came as far as Ridmah, opposite Kadesh Barnea. I said to you there, you have arrived at the mountain of the Amorites, the strategic high ground of the land of God, our God, is giving us. Behold, God, your God, has set the land before you. Go up and take possession of it, as God, your God of your fathers, has spoken to you. You should be neither afraid nor terrified, since God will lead you and do the battle for you. Verse 22, we begin the third reading. But when you heard that the time had come to confront the nations living in the promised land, you panicked. All of you, except for the tribe of Levi, approached me as an unruly mob, disregarding any hierarchy of age, rank, or social status. Instead of trusting in God, you said, let us send men ahead of us so that they will search out the land for us. Tell us what language the inhabitants are speaking, seek out the easiest, most direct route by which we will go up, and determine which cities we should approach first to conquer. God was displeased by your desire to employ these natural strategies of conducting a conquest, since this evinced a lack of faith in his promise that you would conquer the land miraculously. So God saw that as a doubt because they were wanting to send the spies in. We continue on. But the plan you proposed actually pleased me, since I thought that if you would agree to send the scouts, if I would agree to send the scouts, my confidence in the positive outcome of their expedition would quiet your fears and you would withdraw your request. But this tactic did not work. You did not withdraw your request. So I agreed to it and took 12 of the best and finest men from among you, one man from every tribe, except for that of Levi, since they had not requested representation among the scouts. So Moses tried to play, not a trick, but he tried to use reverse psychology on them because he thought if I agree to send the scouts, they'll say, well, if Moses is confident that they're going to come back, we might as well not even send them. But they did, and that caused a lot of problems. I want to turn here. It says that he was going to take, so I agreed to it, to the plan, and took 12 of the best and finest men from among you, one man from every tribe, except for that of Levi, which was the priestly tribe, since they had not requested representation among the scouts, so they didn't even ask for representation, so they didn't get one. But if they took one from every tribe, there's 12 tribes. He took one from all the 12 tribes. How'd you get 12? If Levi didn't send one, how'd you get 12? Most of you probably already know the answer, but let's take a look back at Numbers 13:4, and we're going to read off the names of those that were in the tribes. Sorry, it's awkward. I'm trying to see the time. these were the names, Numbers 13 and 4. These were their names, the names of the people that were sent out as the spies. From the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, son of Zakur. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Chori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Yefuneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Yigal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Moses' attendant, Hosea, son of Nun. We're going to see that in just a minute. From the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Sodi. From the other tribe of Joseph, the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi, son of Susi. So we see there how he ended up getting the 12 people, because they took one from two from Joseph, from Ephraim, and from Manasseh. So that's how you ended up with 12. From the tribe of Dan, Amaliel, son of Gamli. From the tribe of Asher, Setur, son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nechabas, son of Nachbi, son of Vophsi. From the tribe of Gad, Geuel, son of Machi. These are the names of the men whom Moses sent to inspect the land. But Moses now formally changed the name of Hosea to the son of Nun, or Joshua. Hosea, son of Nun, is actually Joshua. Okay, so there we see all the spies that went into the land. Now we go back to Deuteronomy 1:24. The scouts turned, Deuteronomy 1:24, the scouts turned north and ascended the mountain of the Amorites. They came to the valley that would be called the Valley of Eshkol, or cluster of grapes, on account of the grapes they took from it to show you, and also spied out the entire length and breadth of the land. They took some of the fruit from the land in their hands and brought it down to us, since the land of Israel is considered the top of the world, and brought us back word. They said that just as the fruit of the land is abnormally large, so are the people who live in it. They thus tried to convince you that it was impossible to conquer the land by natural means. They then tried to persuade you that God would not assist you supernaturally either. But Joshua and Caleb said, the land that God, our God, is giving us is good, and God will surely help us conquer it. But although you did not fully accept the spies' contention that the land was unconquerable, you nonetheless were not willing to go up, for you resented God for giving you a land that you considered inferior to Egypt. So you joined the spies and rebelliously disobeyed God, your God. It's interesting that they were about to go into the promised land, the land of milk and honey, and they were still looking back towards Egypt. They thought that they were inheriting an inferior land because they still had gotten Egypt so much into them. I'm resisting a story here, but we'll move on. 27, you slandered God in your tents and said, out of God's hatred of us, he took us out of Egypt. Publicly, however, you added your voices to the spies and complained. God plans to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites to annihilate us. Where do you think you're going? Or where do you think we're going? Moses said, our brothers have discouraged us, saying, we saw there a people greater and taller than we, great and fortified cities suspended in the sky, and the descendant of supernatural giants who were fathered by the fallen angels, Shamchazai and Aza'eil. I'm not sure if I was supposed to read those. I hope that's all right. It's written in the text. So we have there the names of the two fallen angels. Many people think this is a huge army or a bunch of people, but it really was not. It was only two of the fallen angels. Let's move to Numbers 13:33. And we'll see a little bit more in depth of what's going on here. In Numbers 13:33, we saw there not only the mortal giants whom we mentioned before, but also supernatural giants, fallen angels who are descendants of Og, a giant descendant from the original fallen angels. Shamchazai and Aza'eil, who assumed material form and descended to the earth in the days of Enosh. And these giants were much larger than the mortal giants we saw in Hebron. We seemed to ourselves as tiny grasshoppers next to them, and so did we seem to them, for we overheard them saying that there are ants in the vineyard that look like people. That is just amazing. I knew that they were giants, but I figured, maybe 10 feet. I really don't know how big Og was or how big these giants were. But to the point, I think they were literal when they said we seem to ourselves as tiny grasshoppers next to them, and they overheard the giants say that there's ants in the vineyard that look like people. Uh, they must have been huge. I mean, I can't even fathom how big they were. And the cities, it said that the cities were suspended in midair. Let's look at Genesis 6:4 and get a little bit more detail into this. Let's see, Genesis 6:4. The corrupt princes and judges of the race of giants became known as the fallen ones, for they both fell. In other words, they were wiped out and caused others to fall or be wiped out because of their misdeeds. So they talk about them falling in a spiritual sense. They were fallen spiritually, and they caused others to fall, which is why they were called the fallen ones. They were on the earth in those early days, in the days of Enosh and the initial descendants of Cain. Even though they witnessed the partial flooding of the world, they did not heed this warning, but persisted in their wickedness. I find that interesting. This is in Genesis or Bereshit, the seventh reading of chapter 6, verse 4. When we get back around to this Torah portion, we're going to dig into that partial flooding. Thus, their wicked race also continued later after Enosh's time, for these princes and judges continued to consort with whichever women they pleased and had children through them, whom they then inculcated with their wicked ways. These princes were mighty and rebellious ones of old, men whose depravity was indicated by their names. I also want to know what their names meant, but we'll dig into that when we look at the Bereshit Torah portion, which expressed their anti-divine philosophy and lifestyle. The idolatry and carnal excess of both the angelic giants and the princes and judges of the mortal giants led them to disrespect the property. This led them into disrespect for property rights as well, and thus the foundations of society, honesty, integrity, and justice, were undermined and replaced by dishonesty, corruption, and larceny. Their behavior made the world into an uncivilized, frightening place in which to live. So now you can see what's going on a little bit there in the times of Noah, which made the world into an uncivilized and frightening place to live. Let's move on back to Deuteronomy 129. Deuteronomy 129, I said to you, do not be broken in spirit and afraid of them. God, your God, who goes before you, will fight for you, just as he did for you in Egypt before your very eyes. And just as he did for you in the desert, where you saw how God, your God, protected you, as if he was carrying you the way a man carries his son, all along the road that you traveled until you come to this place. That reminds me of the poem, The Footprints. Remember the story, The Footprints? I can't remember how it goes. I should have researched it and had it ready for you, but it's basically a man looking at footprints along the beach, and he sees two sets of footprints. And when he gets to the times that was hardest in his life, he sees only one set of footprints. And he prays to God, and he says, well, why is it that when things were going easy, I saw two sets of footprints and you walked beside me? But when things got tough, when things got the hardest, I see only one set of footprints. Why did you leave me alone? And Hashem said to the man, It wasn't during the times of hardness that I left you alone. It was then that I carried you. And that's what you see here in this. That was actually very scriptural because it says he was carrying you the way a man carries his son all along the road that you traveled until you came to this place. I think that's beautiful. Excuse me. But despite God's open and miraculous protection that you have witnessed so far, you stubbornly do not believe God, your God, regarding this manner of his promise to bring you safely into the land of Israel, even though he goes before you on your journey in a pillar of fire by night and in a pillar of cloud by day in order to search out a place for you to make camp and to show you which way you should go. God heard the sound of your words and became angry. He swore, saying, none of these men of this evil generation will see the good land which I swore to give your forefathers, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh. He will see it, and I will give him Hebron, the land he trod upon, to him and to his children, because he was loyal to God. God also allowed Joshua to enter the land of Israel in reward of not having joined the rest of the spies. But beyond Caleb, Joshua was appointed to lead the people in its conquest. This is because years later, God also became angry with me, Moshe speaking here. God also became angry with me on account of my improper response to you when you complained against God at Kadesh Barnea, saying to me, you will not go either. So God had told Moshe at that time, not only are the children of Israel, except for Joshua and Caleb, not going into the land, but you're not going either. Verse 38, Joshua, son of Nun, who stands before you to serve you, will go there in your stead. Strengthen him, for he, and not you, will cause Israel to inherit the promised land. That is verse 38, which ends that Torah portion. Join us tomorrow to find out what happens next. I want to find out what happens when you go ahead of God against what God already said. We discussed that in a previous lesson here just a day or two ago. Tune in tomorrow for that. It's something else. And also, if you missed the green-faced girls that we talked about, I believe I could get the size wrong, but I believe the green-faced girls are going to pop up over here somewhere. Check that out, or if you want to subscribe, it should pop up over here. I'm looking at my notes. And most of all, you know the thing. You know the thing. Please like, share, and subscribe as I grow this channel. I hope you've got something out of it. God bless. Have a nice day.